Hi YouTube and welcome to my channel. My name is Patrick. Today we're going to talk about why people don't use desktop Linux. So let's go ahead and dig right in. Alright, so the first reason that we don't see more people using desktop Linux is the steep learning curve. So it's no mystery that Linux is a little bit more complicated to administer than Windows or Mac OS. In fact, it's quite a bit more difficult. And part of the problem with Linux desktop adoption is that people are not really interested in figuring out how to properly maintain and administer a whole new operating system. And the fact that it's so complicated really does not play into its favor. Now, there is a fix for this. Look at the Steam Deck. Look at what the Steam Deck has done. Because the Steam Deck has taken all of that Linux complication and wrapped it up into a simple to use interface. It has abstracted away all of the complication that comes along with a Linux desktop. The second reason that more people don't use Linux is choice overload. Simply put, there are too many choices for somebody to consider when looking at getting set up with a Linux desktop. The fact of the matter is, people don't want to have to make so many choices. They don't want to choose between Wayland and X. They don't want to choose between GNOME and KDE. They don't want to choose between Cinnamon and Ubuntu. Frankly put, there's too much overlap. Like, all of these distributions are all general purpose use desktops, and it makes it really difficult to figure out which OS, which distro to roll with. Now, like I said a moment ago, let's look at Steam OS. So the Steam Deck has done something really special in that it's more of an appliance than it is a computer, and I think that that's really the solution here to the choice overload. We need to have distributions that have a clear use case, and it becomes a little bit more like, what do I want to do with this thing? What do I want to use this thing for? And whenever we change the framing of the question to something like that, it becomes a lot easier for people to get on board. It's not about the operating system. It's not about the computer. It's about what you do with it. And I think that that distinction is something that is sorely missing in the Linux desktop ecosystem. Alright, and the third reason people don't use Linux is the compatibility issues. I'm talking about both hardware and software. It's no mystery that if you use Linux, you're giving up a lot of industry standard tools, such as the Adobe suite, such as Microsoft Office. And the fact of the matter is, when you're collaborating with other people, you usually want to be using the same tool as them. And it's just a sad fact that those tools aren't available on Linux. Now, there are some amazing alternatives. Some of these alternatives do work better than the proprietary offerings. But the thing is, people want to use the software they're familiar with. And the operating system is simply a vehicle to deliver them to that software. And because they can't get that software on Linux, they're not going to look at it. Now, again, there's a fix for this, and it's a little bit of a chicken and egg problem, because here's the thing, we're going to need more people using Linux in order to make it worth it for the software developers to make Linux versions of their programs. But we're going to need Linux versions of these programs in order to get more users. It's a constant problem that has plagued platforms since platforms were a thing. I mean, look at the Windows Phone. Windows Phone died because it didn't have all the same apps that people wanted. And it didn't have all the apps that people wanted because not many people used it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think that the only thing that's going to save us from going down the same road as Windows Phone is to focus on cross-compatibility with other platforms. I'm not saying that there isn't cross-compatibility today, but we need to get better somehow at having the software that people want to use. And the fourth reason why people don't use Linux It is easy to break and hard to fix. Look, the fact of the matter is I've broken dozens of Linux desktops in my time, and I have fixed far fewer. The problem here is that the Linux desktop is very easy to break, but there is a solution to this. And again, let's look at what Valve did with the Steam Deck as an example. So the Steam Deck is very locked down. It has very tight guardrails to prevent people from doing something stupid that will break the system. And that's really what we need more of. We need more distros that are immutable, like Fedora Silverblue, but we also need them to operate in such a way that people are going to be able to do what they want to do without too many annoyances. And I think the Steam Deck has struck a very nice balance here, because at the end of the day, again, people want to treat their computer like an appliance. They want to say, what am I going to do on my computer? What is my computer going to do to enable me to do what I want to do? They don't care about the operating system. What they care about is that the programs that they need to do their work are there. And simply put, if you're worried about breaking your system by simply installing a third-party repo, then you're not going to be focused on doing what you want to do. You're going to be fixing the system constantly. And so, again, something that can be done about this is more guardrails, more immutable systems. And reason number 5 of why more people don't use Linux, and that is, simply put, people follow the path of least resistance. Here's the thing. Windows is very popular because it is popular. Windows is not more popular because it is better than Linux. Windows is more popular because it's what people use. You go to work, you use a Windows machine. You come home, what are you going to buy? You're going to buy a Windows machine. Because the thing is, you don't want to have to relearn a whole new system. And honestly, I don't really know what the fix is for this. In the past, looking historically, things that have gotten people to switch platforms, advertising, good advertising campaigns. Beyond that, I don't really know what solution there is to breaking the self-fulfilling prophecy of Windows being more popular because it is more popular. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. My name was Patrick, and I will catch you in the next one.